Picture this. Me, Ethan Caldwell, 30-something freelance web developer who basically lives in sweatpants and exists on coffee and code. My world used to be simple. Wake up, open the laptop in my home office overlooking the manicured lawns of Cedar Hollow Estates, hammer out websites for clients who pay way too much for what I do, and spend the evenings talking to my best friend who never judges my life choices. That best friend? Sergeant, my African gray parrot who's been with me since he was a chick. This bird is a legend in his own mind. Picked up every iconic line from 80s action flicks because that's what played on loop when I was younger and broke. Get to the chopper, he'd scream at 3 a.m. for no reason. I'll be back, he'd mutter like he was Arnold himself. Say hello to my little friend, followed by machine gun impressions that could wake the dead. He was loud, chaotic, hilarious, and mine. Cedar Hollow was one of those cookie-cutter suburbs where every house looks like it was stamped from the same mold. White siding, black shutters, two-car garage, perfection enforced by the iron fist of the Homeowners Association. And ruling that kingdom? Vivian Thorpe, president for life, clipboard always in hand, eyes scanning for the tiniest imperfection like a hawk hunting field mice. Grass too long? Fine incoming. Mailbox flag crooked? Citation. Someone's holiday lights stayed up past January 15th? Personal vendetta. She patrolled the streets every morning like it was her sacred duty, measuring blades of grass with a ruler, scribbling notes, ruining someone's day before they'd even finished their coffee. I tried to stay under the radar, kept the lawn edged, trash cans hidden, lights off after 10. But Sergeant? That bird didn't care about bylaws. One afternoon, I'm deep in a freelance project, windows cracked because it's that perfect spring day, and he's whistling the theme from the Andy Griffith Show. Pure nostalgia. Innocent, right? Wrong. Vivian freezes mid-stride outside my house, head cocked, pen hovering over her clipboard. I catch her shadow through the blinds. My stomach drops. Trouble, wearing sensible flats and a permanent frown, has found me. Fast forward to the day everything imploded. Big client, huge Zoom call, 5-figure project, the kind that could pay rent for 6 months and maybe let me eat something besides ramen. I'm going to button up for the first time in weeks, camera angled just right, pitch ready. Windows open because Sergeant hates feeling trapped. Mid-sentence, explaining my timeline, he belts out full volume, say hello to my little friend. Then the fake gunfire, pew 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 pew. My client's face freezes, eyes wide. Ethan, are you okay? Is someone shooting? I'm waving my hands like a lunatic, stammering, no, that's just it's my parrot, he's joking, it's a movie quote. But the damage is done. Client spooked, call-ins early, polite but cold. Project? Ghosted. I sit there staring at the blank screen, heart hammering, feeling the weight of everything I'd been holding together start to crack. 2 days later, Vivian knocks. Not a friendly knock, a you've been summoned knock. She stands on my porch, letter in hand, face thunderous. Profanity, she hisses. Simulated gunfire. Disturbing the peace. Violations of community decency standards and persistent nuisance ordinance. First offense, formal warning. Second, $100 fine. Third, $250 plus a hearing before the board. She shoves the paper at me like it's evidence in a murder trial and marches off. I close the door, look at Sergeant perched innocently, and whisper, "Buddy, we're in deep now." I tried everything to shut him up, covered the cage with a blanket. He just talked louder in the dark, reciting lines like he was auditioning for the next Die Hard. Rewards? He'd take the almond, say thank you in my mom's voice, weird flex, but accurate, then immediately drop, yippee-ki-yay mother, nope. Training sessions? He'd mimic the clicker's sound perfectly, then ignore it. I started hating my own house. The silence felt oppressive, the walls too close, the rules suffocating. Every chirp outside made me flinch, waiting for the next citation. Then one rainy evening, flipping through the monster that is the Cedar Hollow bylaw binder. 300 pages of soul-crushing legalese. I hit rock bottom. Sergeant, board, starts echoing random words. Article, section, bylaw, covenant, something clicked. A ridiculous, beautiful, petty idea. What if he only spoke HOA? No more profanity. No more movie violence. Just pure, unfiltered bureaucracy. If the rules were the weapon, why not let the bird wield them? I went all in. Almonds became currency. Hours a day, repetition, praise. Article 7, Section 3. Landscaping must maintain uniform appearance. Treat. Section 12. Trash receptacles shall not be visible from the public right-of-way. Jackpot treat. He learned fast, scary fast, like he'd been waiting his whole life for this role. Soon he had the landscaping regs down cold, the pet restrictions, the architectural guidelines, even the fine structure. Sergeant transformed into the ultimate HOA Parrot lawyer, perched like a judge in a feathered robe. First strike came on a sunny Saturday. Vivian was out front, weeding her already perfect flower beds, maybe 30 feet from my open window. Sergeant leans out, tilts his head, and in his clearest, most official voice, Article 9, Section 2, trash receptacles must not be visible from a street. She freezes, looks around like she's being watched by God, spots me in the window, smirking. Her face goes from confused to furious in about 0.3 seconds. She storms off, but I swear I heard steam coming out of her ears. That was just the beginning. Sergeant became the neighborhood enforcer, without me saying a word. Mail carrier drops a package too close to the curb. No solicitation permitted without prior approval. Kid on a skateboard after dusk. Recreational equipment prohibited on common areas after 8 p.m. Old Mr. Jenkins mowing at 7:45 a.m. Lawn maintenance equipment permitted only between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. People actually started listening, some out of confusion, some because it was hilarious, some because deep down they hated Vivian's reign too. She snapped, called the police, told them I was exhibiting erratic, unstable behavior, possibly a danger to the community. 2 officers show up, polite but firm. I invite them in, point to Sergeant. He greets them with Article 4, Section 1. Pets shall not constitute a nuisance. Then recites the entire noise ordinance. The younger cop loses it, starts laughing so hard he has to lean on the wall. The older one just shakes his head, grins. Sir, your bird is code compliant. Have a good day. They leave. Vivian, watching from her porch, looks like she swallowed a lemon whole. She pivoted hard. Sent a new violation. The birdcage was now an unapproved structural addition. I stared at the letter, felt the anger rise. Not hot and explosive, but cold, focused. Fine. If they want structure, I'll give them structure. Hired a contractor the next week. Built a custom indoor alcove, floor-to-ceiling glass. Integrated into the wall, permitted, inspected, $5,000 later. The cage became part of the house. Legal. Untouchable. When the inspector signed off, I swear Sergeant gave a little victory whistle. But Vivian wasn't done. She called an emergency HOA meeting. Whole neighborhood summit. Agenda. My ongoing harassment, mockery of board authority, community disruption. Demand. $1,000 fine and forced removal of the bird. I walked in with Sergeant on my shoulder like a pirate king, cage covered until showtime. The room was packed. People who'd been fined for Christmas lights, for kids' toys left out, for daring to live imperfectly. Tension thick enough to cut. I stood up when called, voice steady, but inside I'm shaking with the kind of righteous fury you only get after months of being stepped on. I followed every rule. I said, remove the profanity, eliminated the nuisance. My companion now recites only approved material, your material. Then I uncovered the cage. Sergeant launched into it like he'd been rehearsing for years. Grass height regs, pet leash requirements, fine schedules, violation procedures. The room started murmuring, then chuckling. He hit the climax. Clear, loud, perfect diction. Article 14, Section 8. Fines must not be arbitrary or capricious. Boom. The very bylaws they hid behind turned against them. Gasps. Laughter erupted. Real, belly-deep laughter from people who'd suffered under Vivian for years. Vote happened fast. One hand for the fine, hers. Everyone else? No. Motion defeated. Vivian stood, face crimson, chair scraping loud as she stormed out. Door slammed. Silence, then applause. After that, The air changed. Vivian stepped down quietly a month later. No fanfare, just gone. Patrols stopped. Citations dried up. People started breathing again. Sergeant became the unofficial mascot. Bylaw bird, they called him. Neighbors would walk by, wave, ask through the window, "Hey, Sergeant, what's the rule on fences?" He'd rattle it off, proud as anything. Even a new family who moved in next door, wide-eyed, terrified of the HOA monster, got the welcome when I called him over. "Sergeant, regulations regarding moving vans?" He recited the parking ordinance word for word. Their jaws dropped. Then they laughed. Then they stayed. I still hear him sometimes, late at night, murmuring sections to himself like bedtime stories. And yeah, every once in a while he'll slip in an old "I'll be back" just for me, quiet, almost tender, like he's reminding us both we survived. So here's the thing that keeps me up sometimes, staring at the ceiling. Was it petty? Hell yes. Was it justified? Damn right. But where's the line between standing up for yourself and becoming the bully? When does clever revenge cross into cruelty? Vivian was awful, controlling, joyless, drunk on tiny power, but she was still a person. Did she deserve the public humiliation? Or did the neighborhood just need someone to finally say enough? What do you think? Was I the hero? Or just another guy with a grudge and a very talented bird?